Capturing the world. Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is David Carmichael II. And before we get into our new episode, I want to tell you about my brand, Capture the World. Capture the World is a black-owned streetwear brand from Hampton, Virginia. Capture the World represents the young generation of creatives around the world. Next up are millennials and Generation Z. What is a creative? A creative can be described as an individual that sees the world differently from everyone else. A creative can be looked at as a leader or a person that influences people with their gifts and talents. A creative uses their gift from God, not for money and fame, but for the greater good of the world. A creative thinks outside of the box and brings innovation in the world. Anyone from the young generation can be considered creative and capture the world, but those people that are ambitious, passionate, and have perseverance are the only ones that can bring their gifts and talents into fruition and capture the world. Are you a creative? Do you want to capture the world? Capture the World Apparel plans to provide the highest quality, high fashion, and give a unique look. You can visit our website at www.capturetheworldapparel.com. The world is yours. Capture it. This episode was recorded on November 28th, 2020. Hope you enjoy. Hey, what's going on, guys? This is your host, David Carmichael II. I am back with another great episode of the Capture the World podcast. I have another great special guest. Before I introduce her, though, I wanted to give a shout out to all of our Spotify listeners, Apple Podcast listeners, and YouTube listeners. Thank y'all for continuing to rock with the show so far. And introducing our special guest. Her name is Tanya Terry. She is an author that resides in Charlotte, North Carolina. She has a children's book called You Are Love, which is a book for love and support for young children. Tanya, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you? Thank you for having me.
No doubt. Yeah, I can't complain at all. How was your Thanksgiving so far?
It was good. So I do live in Charlotte, but my parents are in the Richmond, Virginia area. So I'm actually in Virginia now, hanging out with them and my brother and sister-in-law and my nephew. So, I'm just thankful. I'm thankful for being able to be down here and spend some time with them during this holiday.
That's awesome. So when do you plan on going back home? Or how long do you plan on staying where you right now?
Good question. So, I actually might be here through Christmas. I have my brother and sister-in-law are expecting their second child.
Okay.
My niece that's supposed to be born on January 3rd. So she might come early. We don't know. So I might just kind of stick around, kind of help them out, be here for that. I might go back to Charlotte at one point, but also I'm just trying to lay low too because COVID is real out here in these streets,
Yeah, definitely is.
Make sure we all careful.
Right.
I did get a COVID test before I came home. So, just making sure everything's all good.
Well, that's good. You're being responsible. That's awesome. Yeah, because they've been saying keeping the family gatherings at a low amount of people and everything. I was with my mom. It was just me, my mom, both my brothers, and my sister. So that way it was just us at the crib. We went to my mom's house and we cooked, and my mom cooked. But yeah, man, it's been a crazy year, man. I don't know what to think of it.
Crazy year, and I'm wondering. They're saying like, oh, they were discouraging people from getting together during the holidays. But I know people were still probably doing that. But the weather was just like warm here. So hopefully people if they did have big gatherings, they were outside or were extra careful.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it's crazy. The year is almost over with. But it's like, we always look at the new year as like a new beginning, but this stuff is still going to be here in 2021. So it's like, what do we got to look forward to? Just got to pray and hopefully it will, calm down soon. But,
right.
Yeah, it is what it is right now. But yeah, so, I know we just talked about, you have a book. But before we get into that, just give me a background about your upbringing. And, what kind of led you to do what you're doing right now?
Yeah, so I grew up in Virginia, actually Fredericksburg, Virginia. My
Okay.
parents moved to the Richmond area around my high school years, but grew up in the church, was in church all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday, Bible study, Sunday, all day.
Right. Right.
But we had a good time, it was a community. I had really good friends that came out of the church and just, my friends in the neighborhood. So my family's very close. I just have a younger brother he's 4 years younger than me. But then our extended family is huge. My mom is one of like 7, and my dad, he has a fairly large family too. So, and then our extended family goes even beyond that. So lots of cousins, aunts, uncles. So we're all very close on both sides. Family is just very important to me. And they made sure that my parents, including my extended family, just made sure that I was encouraged and supported growing up. And that just helped me as I developed, as I developed in school, just even when I graduated from school. When I finished college, I moved to Boston, and I moved up there, didn't know anybody. Just kind of started off on my own, but I feel like, again, that love and support helped push me outside of my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to go up there and, again, get connected with really good, people and make good friends, and stayed up there for like four and a half years. And then I moved to Pittsburgh, and stayed there for like 4.5 years. And then that's when I ended up in Charlotte. So my job actually was, moved me around to those different areas. But at all of those areas, I just experienced great friendships that I have to this day. Experiences that, helped me learn a lot about myself. But just in all of that, I think people and I need to realize we're loved out here,
Right.
especially as a Black woman, especially as a young Black woman, growing up. We need to hear those messages of support and love.
I definitely feel you on that. And when you was in these different cities, did you say you went to school out there, or you just doing different things in each city?
So I went to school in Virginia. I went to
Okay.
University of Virginia, and
Right.
then when I graduated, my job, the corporate job that I worked for, moved me up to Boston, and then that's moved me to Pittsburgh, and then to Charlotte. So my
Right.
job is the one that moved me around to the different areas.
Gotcha. That's what's up. And you say you do what again? Currently?
So I'm a sales manager for a private consumer product goods company that's based out of Boston, actually. So,
Okay.
so yeah, I work from home in Charlotte and travel for like client meetings and stuff like that.
Okay. That's cool. So how you like it so far? Or how long have you been doing that?
So I've been with this particular company for about 3 years. But before that, I was with the company, a larger public company that for 15 years. And I mean, I did several jobs within that company. And that, they moved me around a lot, and it was a great company to work for. But when I was in Charlotte, I kind of decided to take a turn and go to a smaller company and just explore that.
Okay. That's awesome. So okay, throughout all this happened, and you say you moved to different cities. You went to Boston, now you're in Charlotte, and you just told me how who you work for now. So out of all this stuff, you decided you wanted to write a book. So like, how did that happen? Like, what made you even decide to do that? Like, how did that come about?
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So outside of my like corporate job, I do love working with children. So, it started actually, just working with the youth in the church, but then also I started something pretty consistent, was working at the Children's Hospital. And I actually started doing that when I was living in Pittsburgh. And then when I moved to Charlotte, I still obviously work for the Children's Hospital here.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously with COVID, it's been on pause, but that really just, that was like one of my favorite things to do. A lot of it is working with like the babies, just kind of holding the children, playing with the older children, kind of helping them forget about why they're in the hospital, just make them feel comfortable. So it's really just, I love doing that. And so some other programs that I worked outside of my job, and even with my job, I mean, I've done stuff where my job supported different programs that I've asked them to do involving children. We've done like back to school drives. We've had like career days in the office for some of the older kids. So I really enjoy working with children. I have a young nephew. He's only 2 years old. Love him to death. So I thought about, okay, am I going to continue this corporate journey and just do, work with children and continue in the capacity that I'm in, or do I do it full time? I had no idea. I just know I like working with children. So I had a dream that I wrote a children's book. I mean, I didn't know what, and again, going back, I didn't know what capacity I was going to continue to work with children, but I was open to it. And so, I had a dream that I wrote a children's book. Actually, several different ideas about what the topics would be, came to me. Also, the person that I work with as far as the publishing company, and I actually knew her from growing up. We actually went to the same church together when we were younger. And then several years ago, her and her brother started a publishing company. So I reached out to her and was like, hey, I had this dream. I've never done this before, but I feel there's a message and I need to get it out there. And so we kind of walked through the process and here we are. So, and it's funny because my mom was telling me that, and I remember this too, but like my teachers would always say, comment to her about how I was a good writer on a lot of my papers, even when I was younger, but then in high school. And then I got, some comments from professors in college. But my mom had my very first book that I wrote when I was younger.
Okay.
Well, when you're younger, you make your books and did the made the covers and all of that. So she still has it. It's called If I Had a Puppy. And so I was like, you know what? This is, thinking back on it, this isn't the first time I've, written something. It's the first time I actually put it out there as far as publishing it. But I've definitely, from a young age have just wrote little books here and there. And then I journal a lot as well. So that's kind of how I came about this. And I think, it's, the book is called You Are Loved, and again, it's aimed at just encouraging and empowering young children, especially little girls, especially Black and brown girls. And it's written in the form of a poem, so it's a short story, but I think it's impactful and it touches on a lot of things that we'll kind of get into here. But I'm excited about it. I feel it's a positive message that's needed out here for our young children. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, I also read that, you said your family was, the main inspiration behind you writing this book. And I know you talked a little bit about that earlier. So like, why do you think it's so important to have a good family structure? And I know you mentioned like how your family structure has helped you to become the woman you are today. So like, why do you feel like that's so important in today's times?
Yeah, I think especially for young children, I mean, I feel like there's so many voices that they're influenced by, social media, friends in school, bullies in school. There's so many other avenues that are telling them messages that aren't positive. So, and to be honest, sometimes that even comes from the family. But again, I think that when we talk about You're Loved, and I talked about this was, the support that I received from my family was key, but family structures now today look very different. I mean, somebody might not have a traditional family structure, but they're getting that love and support from a family friend or a grandparent or, somebody, some caretaker. But the point is that, they have support and love around them. And so I think that confidence and that support growing up helps kids to thrive. It builds that confidence. It builds it builds that structure that they need to go on and thrive in life.
No doubt, no doubt. So I know you said the book was written in the form of poems. How many poems are like in the book within itself? It's like different stories, short stories, or just one long
It's just
story?
one long poem, yeah.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
It's just like, yeah, like kind of like the Dr. Seuss
Right,
format.
I got you. I got you. So
Yeah.
I see in the book, I seen a couple of pictures, in the media kit I seen, and so is it based on like a black girl growing up?
Yeah, it's just a little black girl, and she does not necessarily have a name. I mean,
Okay,
she represents several different people. I mean,
right.
it's just basically, hey, it starts off like when she's with her grandmother, and her grandmother's sitting her down talking about, child, do you know how much you are loved?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how much, like, you know how unique you are? Like, you're fearfully and wonderfully made, created by God,
Amen. Right.
and so it just kind of goes through that, and then talking about just appreciating her, her brown skin, her curly hair. And then, she's in school, and she's, again, it's just saying you can be anything you want to be. And it kind of lists out, different occupations. You can be a teacher, you can be, a scientist, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because this book release is pretty timely because I mean, we just had, the first woman of color named vice president elect. So
Right. Right.
this book is encouraging, children to be, they can be anything they want to be. And, we have a good example that just happened, with, seeing a woman of color just in a high, powerful position. And she's not the only one. I mean, we continue to see women of color continue to thrive and show and be in key leadership positions. And children, they need to see those images, and especially see those images in books that encourage them to explore different opportunities and get exposed to different opportunities.
No doubt. Yeah. One thing I can add on to that is, in America, we always try to make it seem like we all are one, I guess, nationality, American. But, at the same time, man, it's like we always want to look at people that look like us, like either whether you're, Hispanic or you're Asian. It's like no matter how much we make it seem like we are all American, we all are one, we always going to try to find some inspiration from people that look like us. That's just how it is, you know what I'm saying? So whether you're a black girl and you want to do this and that, but you're looking for some inspiration. Like, how you mentioned Kamala Harris, like people got to see that. It's like, it's just hard for us, certain people to picture themselves doing certain things. They don't see people like them doing it. That's just how it is. So it's like, and we don't want to just say like, we don't want to just put people in different positions because they're just a certain color or whatever. But if that person really is unique and great at what they do, that'll be a good person for people to look at, a role model for people to see that, okay, I did this, you can do it too. And I know what
Exactly.
Kamala Harris is. I think her mother said that, as far as it's okay to be the first, but make sure you're not the last. So inspiring other people, like it's cool that you did it, but try to inspire more people to do what you do as well, and know that they can do the same thing. And
Exactly.
yeah, so it's been, I kind of can say that's what your book is doing. That's what you're trying to convey with your book, and trying to let people know, especially like little black girls, that they can be great, and no matter
Right.
what people are saying about you in society, you can do what you want in life. So definitely love it.
Exactly. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I target, this book has obviously little brown girl as the face. But again, it's for all children,
Mm-hmm.
young children, to have that, positive message. And it's funny because I was having this conversation the other day about exposure. And I know for me, like how like you're in school and you're kind of going through and the messages, go to school, get a good education, get a good job. But
Right.
again, it's like, what is it that is, what is it that you truly desire to do? Like, what is your purpose? What is, what are you interested in? And sometimes, we don't know that. even we get to older and we still don't know. But it's also being surrounded by people and seeing other people in different positions and gaining that exposure. Like, well, I didn't even think that I could. There's some kids out there might be thinking, I didn't even think I could be this, or I didn't even know what this was. Right. And just having that support of, okay, here's something different to think about, or here's getting them exposed to different avenues that might pique their interest, and again, another way for them to develop and figure out their purpose in life.
Right, definitely agree with that. So I know you have the book. So do you have any other books you plan on writing in the future? Like, what's the plan after this?
So I actually wrote a story about my nephew, and he's actually one of the reasons too that but like he really, just reading books to him has really just inspired me as well. Because again, you don't really see too many. I mean, it's becoming more prevalent now, but you don't really see too many books that have representation of different cultures. I know when I was growing up that wasn't the case, but nowadays it's more prevalent. But I see how he just engages and interacts with the books, and how powerful they are. And I was talking about this as well. There's one book that is called, it was one of his favorite books, called Waiting is Not Easy. And it's a little piggy and an elephant, and very, simple message, but powerful in the way that it was, exposed in this book. And it's like, the piggy is like, oh, I have a surprise for you, but you're going to have to wait. And, the elephant, I think, was like, just being really impatient. And it was like, I can't wait any longer. You have to tell me. Like, he's just going on and on. Right. He's like, nope, you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait. And then he's like, is it big? Is it pretty? Like, he's trying to guess, like, what it is. And so it basically starts off like at the, it's daytime. And at the end of the book, he's waiting until it gets dark so he can see all the beautiful stars in the sky. And so he's like, the elephant was like, wow, like, this is so pretty. He's like, I'm glad I waited. Like it was worth it, And sometimes we go through life and we're like waiting for things, and, we're like impatient and want things to happen right away. But sometimes it's in due season, it's in due time. And then when you get it, it's like, it was all worth it, right? And maybe you learn something about yourself along the way. So I was like, man, this is a children's book.
Right.
Hey man, this thing's speaking to me.
Right.
I said, I need to get this book in, as a reminder. So I think it's some of these books, how they just also just speak to adults as well as they're reading it to their children. So yes, my nephew is an inspiration to me as well, and I have a little book that I've written for him. That's about him. It's still kind of in the works. But that would be the next thing that I put out. It's about him, so I'm excited about that.
Okay, that's what's up. So like, do you, I know you plan on writing more books, but let's say it gets bigger, and you're getting people reading your stuff, and like, have you ever thought about, okay, maybe I can do like a cartoon? Like, the only reason I mentioned this because I seen it's like a cartoon with a black girl. I don't know if it ever came out yet, but it was like them talking about making a book based on a black family. It's supposed to air on Nickelodeon, but I don't know if it came out yet or not. But like, was that something let's say the opportunity come, would you like be looking forward to do something like that, like a cartoon show?
I'm open. I'm open. However the Lord leads me.
Right.
I'm just this. Like I said, I never thought that I would be operating in this arena, and it's really a vulnerable process too, because again, this is something that I wrote, and it's different when you're writing something in your journal, or you're writing something for yourself, but then when you put it out there for everybody, it's like, like I got to the end of the process and they were like, okay, now we gotta put it out there. And I'm like, what?
Right.
Like, yeah, you're right. This is for a purpose. And again, it's beyond me. So, yes, if there's any ways that I can be involved that's going to help produce positive messages and help encourage young kids, I'm for it.
Okay, cool. So in your book, I see you have some, some good illustrations. Like who helped you create the pictures within your book when you was writing it?
Yeah, so the publishing company is called Liftbit Bridge Publishing.
Okay.
And they work with illustrators, and we had several illustrators that I kind of told them what the concept was, what I was looking for each, stanza, and they, sent the illustrations back. And that's honestly the longest part of the process is getting the illustrations together. Because, I mean, and depending on how nitpicky you can be, which I kind of got way into the weeds.
Right. Like, I don't like that.
That drags it out longer because I'm like, oh, change this about her hair, or do this, So, yes, the illustrations were done by with Liftbridge Publishing. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. This is a question I wanted to ask you too. So I'm assuming you don't have any kids of your own, right?
I don't.
Okay. But do you plan on? Would you like to have kids
right
one
now.
day?
I do desire the kids. But I just have my nephew and I have some godchildren. So, but none for my own right now.
So like, do you have a certain number of kids? Like some people be like, oh, I want a girl and a boy. I want 2 girls. Blah blah blah. Like, have you ever thought about that, or I'm just whenever it comes, that's when I'll think about that.
Now you're hitting on a sensitive topic right now. But, yes, I do. Actually, so when I was younger, I said I wanted to have 5 kids, and I just knew I was going to have twins. Actually, I still think that I am going to have twins. Matter of fact, several people have even said that to me, and it runs in my family. But I said I was going to have twins, and then just all these kids. But now that I've gotten a little bit older, it's like I got to get through this first one and see how my body, make sure I'm all good. But yeah, I think if I have 1 or 2 now, or maybe I'll have more than that. Whatever, I'm open.
Right. Okay, that's cool. So the book. So where can people get the book? Can they get it on Amazon, Barnes and Noble? Like, where can they go?
Yeah, so the book actually releases on December 1st, and it's available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble online. So actually, people can go out today and actually get pre-order it. But again, December 1st is on Tuesday, so right around the corner they can get it as well.
Right.
I actually have copies that I've ordered for myself too that I can sell. So people can get it directly from me. I do have social media that people can also follow. It's on Facebook. It's author_Tanya TANYA _Terry TERRY. And actually that's for Facebook and Instagram. So how people can find me and how people can get the book. And just, again, I encourage people, just if they have children or young children, again, the target age is around 10 and under, but for those that have kids that just want to have a positive message for them to read, or they want to get for a kid, that there's a friend or a child that they know that they want to pour into, just support it. It's a good message, and I'm really excited about it.
No doubt. Yeah, I'm excited too for you. I know it'd be like a great Christmas present for it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm because when it comes to Christmas, it seems like it's all about toys. But a book. I mean, I don't know how many parents might have thought about getting books. And I know, it might not be cool for some kids to read books. I don't know how it is these days, but, that would be a great present, to the parents out there that's listening, looking for a gift for Christmas. Go ahead and get Tanya's book. If you got a kid that's 10 and under, go ahead and make that purchase. But yeah, so I just got a couple of questions left before I let you go. Um, so I guess I don't know if you consider yourself an entrepreneur or not, but you're doing your own thing with your books and everything. So you have, if you had one piece of advice you can give to someone that was like you that maybe had something they wanted to do but kind of are hesitant about doing it or just want to hop into entrepreneurship, what would you tell them?
I would just say, if you have something on your heart or you're wanting to explore different avenues, just get out there and just put yourself out there. It's a vulnerable process and it's in a lot of ways scary, but I went through that with this process. Trust and believe. I went through all kinds of emotions. And, at the end of the day, if it's laid on your heart, if it's given to you, if you feel passionate about it, put it out there. And, it's maybe not everybody will receive it, but, the message is for somebody. Your purpose, your passion is purpose for someone. Or a group of people, like however it is, it's there for a reason. It's in your heart for a reason. So don't be afraid to just, again, push past the fear and the doubt and the vulnerability and do it. And you never know what could be on the other side of that. You never know until you try. And guess what? I pushed past my my fears and did this, and it's been well received. And so many people have been just pouring their support and love for the project. And I'm just very humbled and grateful for that. So if there's anything, that's laid on your heart as far as you don't know how to do it, even reach out to me. I don't have all the answers, but I can help lead you and guide you in the right direction.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I know some people that can just help, so don't be afraid to ask questions or just kind of do something different. Just whatever's just led on your heart, just don't be afraid to do it.
Awesome, man. Definitely agree with that. So this is my last question before I let you go. This is a question that I ask all my guests, and I know it's a broad question, but it's kind of related to what you do now. So my podcast is called the Capture the World Podcast, and my question to you is, how do you plan to capture the world? And basically, you can base it off what you are kind of doing right now. How do you plan to capture the world doing that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this book is a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And, capturing the world starts in a lot of ways with our young people and how that,
no doubt.
Generations, mindsets are, going forward. There's a lot of, just in this country right now. I mean, we've seen it this year with COVID, just from the racial, discriminations that we've seen out here. Mm-hmm. To the election, like it's just been a lot of dissension going on, but there's also been a lot of good things. And I think those positive messages and images need to be portrayed more, and especially more in our young kids. So I think, as this younger generation continues to grow and thrive, I'm hoping that this book will be, have an impact. And just again, spreading some good messages and good messages to our young children.
Cool. That's great. That's awesome. So December 1st is when the book is going to drop. Like I said before, to all of our people listening, make sure you make that purchase. If you think if you have kids or you have any nieces and nephews that can benefit from this book, feel free to make the purchase on December 1st on Amazon and Barnes & Noble online. And Tanya, it's been a great convo with you. And like I said before, much success to what you got going on. Don't stop. You got the first book out. Go ahead and get that second book out. And then before you know, you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 books out. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, congrats to what you got going on. I wish you the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
No doubt. And this is your host, David Carmichael II. And this is another episode of the Capture the World Podcast. Thank y'all for listening. And we see y'all on the next episode. You have a good one. Peace.